Hey everyone, so what do you do when there's an eviction moratorium going on and you have a tenant who's not paying and you don't know how to get them out? Well, believe it or not, this is my rental property that I had a tenant that wasn't paying, and Joni Wolfswinkel here came up with an idea of how to get the tenant out. So let's go inside and we're going to talk about how we're able to get the tenant out during an eviction moratorium, and it actually cost me no money. Let's go inside. All right, everyone. So I am here with Joni Wolfswinkel, who is the owner of Real Property Management, and she manages my rental property. So I had a tenant that wasn't paying their rent, and yes, it happens to everybody. Everybody has that issue. Joni, so explain kind of how many tenants, first of all, do you have that aren't paying rent right now?
So, I mean, we've probably had about 50 to 60, that haven't been paying rent. And we are either trying to work out rent relief for them, which is rental assistance, or, payment plans. And we've just kind of exhausted every option possible.
Right.
And so we came up with a cash for keys solution where we offer the tenants to basically voluntarily move out of the property. Oftentimes we give them a little bit of, moving money to kind of move out. Yeah. In exchange, we get the property back. Benefits to the tenant, they get a little bit of money, obviously, and an eviction off their record.
Now, so you said 50 to 60, you manage 1,000 properties.
Correct.
So just for people watching, it's not like you're managing 100, it's not 50%. So the number is pretty small.
Yeah, the number is pretty small.
And let me ask you this, how many of the tenants that you get of the 50, 60 are willing to do this cash for keys situation?
So if they've tried everything that they can and they just can't simply afford it,
right.
Those are the tenants that we kind of, help in this situation. So I would say maybe 10, 15 that we've actually helped in this situation.
Okay, now I want to talk about my property specifically, but first, explain why does this make sense for a tenant? There's an eviction ban going on, so they know that they can't get evicted. How do you explain that to them, and how do you even broach the subject? Do you call them? Do you knock on the door? Like with this property, what did you do?
Yeah, so basically you actually have to meet them face to face.
Okay.
These people are in denial. They're not answering their phone. They think that the money's
going to...
you're not going to exactly.
Right.
And so I basically knock on their door and say, knock on their door and basically say, hey, look, let's sit down. Oftentimes I'm in their dining room table, talking with them and having a conversation. Like
person to person.
Exactly.
You got to pay rent. It's not going to work.
Let's come up with a plan.
Okay.
Obviously, At the end of the day, you're probably going to get evicted. You don't want to have that on your record because it'll stick with you forever.
Right.
And so we come up with a solution. And in your case, we didn't even have to pay them any money. They understood that they were going to get evicted. They understood that they were going to have this on their record. And so they were basically willing to move on, and it benefit to the owners. You get the property back, you're happy.
Yeah, I mean, I had another property that the tenants were in there for 6-7 months not paying. Well, you did cash for keys on that one too.
Yeah.
And that one cost me about $1,000. This one, so tell me this, walk me through. So you knock on the door. Hey, I'm Joni, and I'm here to tell you you've got to go.
Yes, not like that, but I basically say, hey, look, I'm here to help you. Let's sit and talk about this. Like, what can we do to, either you can move in with family, or we can find a solution so you're not having to sit here, because at the end of the day, you're going to be evicted. Okay. And it could take me 2 hours, 3 hours, but the point is,
hour,
no,
right?
you're not.
Good.
But I mean, that's our job. That's my job as a property manager, is to make sure that we're protecting the owner's asset. And this is the way that we do it, to try to get the property back as quickly as possible.
And for people watching this video, what's important to learn here is that you're not coming in. You're coming in as a partner to a solution. You're not coming into the conversation as an adversary. Look, at the end of the day, residents know they have to pay rent.
Right.
They know if they don't pay rent, at some point they are going to get evicted. It's not magic. They understand how this whole thing works. They've been renting a lot longer than you've been a landlord probably. So coming in as an adversary and kind of being, butting heads is not going to get you anywhere. Coming in and saying, let's come up with some solutions together is a much better way moving forward.
Absolutely, because I mean, if they say that they did get evicted, they could damage this property, and there could be thousands and thousands of dollars that you lose, And so at the end of the day, I mean, we looked at it and we probably saved you about 9,000, an additional 9,000 from losing, over the 6-month period that they could have been in here, plus damages, plus vacancy. I mean, we got this property performing. The tenant moves in next week.
Yeah, it's already rented. It was only vacant. We'll say vacant, not paying, but tell me, so when you got in, what was the condition? Because right now it looks pretty good. I mean, it looks fine, and they've only been in not that long into the property. I know that.
Yes, and that's kind of my conversation with them. I say, look, like if you want, this to go away, you need to leave this property clean. You have to make sure that there's no damages. And so when I took possession of it, I mean, it smelled like smoke, obviously. And so we got an ozone machine in here to kind of clear that up. We had some touch-up paint, carpet cleaning, cleaning, but really basic. It was really not that much.
Right. And so they left, obviously, and now they've got a benefit because they don't have the eviction on their credit.
Correct.
I got the property back, so I can start actually producing revenue with it.
Correct.
And, the biggest thing I'll tell you, a lot of people tell me like, oh man, that would drive me crazy. I'd get so pissed. Look, let me just tell you something. And look, I'm going through this. I have a vacant property right now that the tenant stopped paying. This is the sandbox we play in as investors.
Yes.
This is what we have to deal with. There is no place to become emotional in a business setting when you own a rental property. This is just part of the business. We want to have the rewards and we want to get the appreciation and the cash flow and everything else. It's pendulum swings both ways. So you have to deal with doing the dirt or hire people that are willing to do the dirt to get this done, because it's got to be done, but you can't take it emotionally. You can't take it personally. It's just part of business. And just like when she came, sometimes it's better to have a property management company come in and handle it, because you may be pissed off. You may walk in and all of a sudden your blood pressure starts ticking up because you see how they've treated your house, and now you're getting personal. Now you're getting emotional. And now it leaves the business environment, and now it goes into the emotional setting, which is what you definitely don't want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one big mistake that a lot of landlords make, is they want all or nothing. Like, if they're not going to pay me, then I'm just going to take them to court. And if you got to really look at it and what's the best option for you.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. And at the end of the day, if they had the money to pay you, they would have paid you. They're not doing this by choice.
Exactly.
They're normally doing this because they have no means. They got fired, laid off, whatever the case may be, medical issues. At the end of the day, again, sometimes it's better just to move on. And I've learned, maybe we can do something in the future to not have that happen. So again, every time you have some sort of setback or failure in this world of being a landlord, you've got to ask yourself, okay, was there anything to learn here? Like, maybe, is there some screening process that maybe you can kind of go, you know what? This probably is something that we should implement now because of COVID and all these other things. Do you have any tips, any final tips for people?
Yeah, I mean, I think screening the tenants properly is the biggest,
Absolutely.
I mean, it's most important. I mean, if you don't screen them properly, then you'll run into situations like this. And I mean, at the end of the day, you're going to be losing more money.
Yeah, 99% of your problems start and stop with the tenant that you put into the property, or many times the ones that you don't put into the property. Also, there are management companies, or, if you hire a management company, that will give you a rent guarantee. So, again, you want to ask, if you're using a management company, do you give some kind of rent guarantee? And is there something because of COVID that they won't honor that? So you want to ask those questions before they put in. Yeah, you may have to pay a little bit more money, but if you get a property that's sitting for 6 months or whatever vacant, and you opted not to pay that extra bit of money, that could be something that could be thousands and thousands of dollars, and you will kick yourself because you tried to save a couple dollars and you ended up not being a business person and you ran things on emotions. So hopefully, if you like this information, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, Steve Rozenberg, and put a comment in if you've got a tenant that is not paying rent, or you've had some kind of issue like I've had in my rental property. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.